All right, everybody, we are live for a very, very, very special Friday Focus. I am beside myself that my friend, and she calls me sister, which is an honor, Iyana Vansant is here with me today. Iyana and I know each other 20 years. Nobody knows that. I'm like the secret friend. Um, and I'm going to bring her on in a moment. We're going to do a special session today in Friday Focus talking about how do you get up time and time again. We're calling this Coaches Talking Real Life because, gurus give you solutions, but you want to work with people who've been through it too. And Iyana has been through it. So let me bring in New York Times bestselling author and the star of Iyana Fix My Life. Iyana Vansant is here with me.
Morning, grand rising to you and to your family, your community family. Good morning.
Thank you. And hello to your community. And thank you for bringing your community to me. I am just honored to meet all of you and to be here with Iyana. And we're going to talk about real life. How do you get up when you're knocked down? And I actually reached out to Iyana because I was knocked down in the last 18 months being a caregiver to two family members. And you just think you can do it. You're like, I'm a little machine. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. And before you know it, you need a caretaker.
Yeah.
And so, but as a witness to Iyana, as being in her space a little bit, we know that Iyana has been through valleys in her life. So I invited her to come and talk about how do we get up? How do we get up?
Yeah.
So we've got some tips for you that we'll tell you where to find later. But for now, we're just going to talk real talk. So tell me.
How are you? First of all, folks don't know that we've known each other over 22 years, that you were on my first talk show, that when I started Intervisions Institute, you were very supportive of me getting our program certified and up with ICF, the International Coaching Federation, of which you are a founding member.
I am. I'm grandfathered in. I'm so glad I don't have to take the test.
Oh, yeah, I know the test. The test nowadays is unbelievable. So, and it's really, it's been a journey for both of us. And we always just keep each other right here in our heart and reach out when we need to. So it's really good. You don't have to be up. And like I said, I'm just glad to know that you're there. We don't have to have nachos every other Friday.
And that's good for our waistline to not have nachos every other Friday.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm seeing greetings from all over the place, Iyana. I got to tell you, we have St. Martin. Hey, maybe we'll have nachos on St. Martin.
Hey, I know that I can do.
We've got Florida in the house. We've got everybody.
So, I saw the UK is here. So grand rising to everyone and welcome to Real Coaches Talk. Because one of the things, and I'm sure you found this too, that when you're a coach or when you're a teacher or when you're a person in leadership, people don't think you have a real life.
No, they think you walk on sunshine and nothing ever happens to you.
Yeah.
And it's so not true.
I think it's just important. Morning, Georgia. Morning, Tennessee. Arizona. Yeah. Carolina, the Caribbean, Antigua. Good. But I think it's important that we stay on the same level with people. We have a little more knowledge and experience and information. Thank God for a skill, a tool, and a principle. It doesn't mean that stuff doesn't go wrong. Our partners don't get on our nerves. Our children don't drive us crazy. The dog don't eat something that you don't want him to eat, even though you're a coach. So I just think that's such a good idea for us to be able to share with people. And particularly now, because a lot of people are down. A lot of people are recovering. Yeah.
And so, I've stood by when you've lost family members, you've gone through marriage loss, you've gone through the loss of shows and the expectations that people have of you, money, your house. I mean, let's talk a little bit about, when you're in it, for most people, you just think it's never going to end.
Yeah. It's
So
like,
how have you gotten yourself through moments like that where you're like, you don't see the solution yet? How do you get through?
Well, I think what I know now, I didn't know it then when I was going through it. Getting through your difficulty, the crux, the key, the core is your relationship with yourself. And do you trust yourself to get through it? If you go into a challenge, a difficulty, a hardship, thinking that, I can't, I'm not enough, I don't know enough, I can't do this. If you start there, well, then you're going to be dragging on your belly for a long time. What I realize now is one of the reasons that I got through the divorce and the loss of the house and the bankruptcy and the loss of the contract and all manner of hoopla and conflammation is because I knew I was enough.
Mm.
And I knew I could get through it. And I think, not I think, I know, after I buried my daughter in 2003, I came up with this mantra that has gotten me through so much since then, which is if I could stand at the side of a grave and watch them put dirt on a box that had my child in it, I can do anything for a little while. I can do anything for a little while, no matter how long that little while lasts. If it lasts a week, a day, an hour, a year, I can do anything for a little while because I trust myself. I am enough to get me through this. Now, of course, I didn't know that when I was going through any of that, but I'm looking back now.
I know it's the right 2020 vision in hindsight. And, and I know I've heard you say that the blessing is in how you move that forward later, how you serve others with it later, but you don't feel that when you're in it.
No, you don't feel it when you're in it. And sometimes when we're going through stuff, the universe is so brilliant that it numbs us and you're just moving. And that's okay. That's okay. You don't want to stay in that state, but that's okay. So I think that's a mantra that people can take on. I can do anything for a little while, no matter how long it takes. The other mantra that I have really worked with to get myself, and this is now in my life,
Right.
no matter what comes, Laura, I don't care what it is, how horrible, shocking, unexpected it is. You know what I say? Yes, thank you. Yes, thank you. Yes, I don't know why this is here, but it's going to be good. I can hardly wait to see the good that's going to come. Yes, thank you. Oh, the dog died. Yes, thank you.
My God.
Toilet overflow. Oh, yes, thank you. Because that yes creates an energy. There's a yes set, there's a yes energy. And so if you can get into that yes flow as opposed to the, oh my God, eat, oh, yes, thank you. Yes, thank you. And I smile with it too, because smiling sends endorphins to the brain. Yes, thank you. Yes. What am I learning here? What am I clearing here? What am I growing here? Yes, thank you. Yes.
And when people who teach manifesting say you've got to be, radiating this energy and it's your vibration. And that's exactly what you're talking about. Like if you hit a real low and you're living deeply in the loss, I'll never recover, it's over forever, there's no way out, it prolongs. Is
Yes.
that what is that what you think?
And the other thing that happens is when we're in a difficult place, because we're so programmed and conditioned to be external, that when something difficult comes up, we're looking to see who's going to support us, who's going to help us. And some of our healing is a sacred time. Some things you have to walk through by yourself. Don't be looking for somebody to come and save you. The universe brought it to you because it's your time, your lesson. And learning to trust yourself often requires that you do it with yourself, not looking for other people to lean on. So that's another really good thing to happen. And because I'm the last one standing, meaning my mother's gone, my father's gone, my sister's gone, my brother's gone, I don't have a partner anymore. There's no place for me to look but at the dogs, peace and freedom. And that's why I named them that, peace and freedom. Call in what it is that I need. And I'm looking at them and they're looking at me. So.
Well, the thing about peace and freedom, your dogs, is I think it was Nora Ephron, the writer, she's dead now, but she said every woman should have a dog because at least someone will be happy to see her when she walks through the door.
Yes, nobody, and they never talk about how big your butt is,
or their problems. It's a very one-sided, unconditional love. But the thing about the joy of the dogs is just that. By the way, Instagram is telling me that we have a bad echo on Instagram, so listen, folks on Instagram, I will post this final video. So come back, right? So if you drop off, come back, and you want to go to the link in the bio on Instagram, folks, because all of you, we have a takeaway for you today, the 7 steps to get up again and again and again. So everything we're talking about will be there. So if we lose you, we apologize. Tech is not our thing. Love is. So we're
Facebook.
Go to Facebook Live. Find us on YouTube Live. And someone on Facebook just said the sound is definitely better than on Instagram. Okay, so we apologize. Look, see, her dog is excited when she gets home. Right?
Yeah.
Every woman needs a dog so that you're happy. You know, someone asked a question way back, Iyana. I can't find it. We want to get this one down. Hi, Mignon. That they asked, what about when it's over? Like, let's say the show or the position, or you just you don't see the next thing, so you think it's over. How do you reconcile?
Well, you know, that's why God made roads that curve. Because if you had to sit here and look at how far you have to go, you would say, oh, that's too far, I can't do it. So the road goes and then it curves, and then it goes and then it curves, and then it goes and it curves. Your job is to simply get to where the road is curving. Don't worry about what's around the curve. Go from where you are to the curve. And it's your relationship with your trust, knowing that, and with yourself, and trusting yourself, knowing that no matter what comes around that curve, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. And if I'm not okay, if I die, I'll be dead and I won't know it. So
that's right. I used to say, in my worst, I had a very, very dark time in my 20s. It was like a 3-year depression. I called it the dark curtain fell. Like, I just, I barely functioned. And I remember telling myself that it would, like, I just don't know. And I just have to be in it. And if I only could learn happiness, peace, and love, nothing else would matter. It wouldn't matter how much money I have, because I'm at peace, right? And if I'm dead, I'm not going to know any difference. So, the dogs have the names. Maybe I should change my dog's name to Happy.
Yeah,
happiness.
My turtles are love and happiness. My dogs are freedom. I believe name it and call it what it is you want to experience. I don't need a turtle or a dog named Rusty. I need.
I love this point that someone just made, Iyana, because this is in one of our points for you to take away. I have joy, but sometimes my past interrupts that, and then worthlessness seeps in.
Beat that puppy down, not the dog puppy.
Right.
Beat it down. Beat it down.
Every reaction is you living from the past.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Every negative that you come up with isn't really a reaction to this moment. It's the past trying to take you over. So you're right. Beat down that puppy.
And because you believe it, you look for evidence.
If you will find it.
You will find it. You will definitely find it. I said years and years ago, I may be dating myself. There was a commercial on television. Ford got a better idea. You remember that? Ford got a better idea. That the Ford cars, it was a commercial.
I don't know that one.
And so Ford got a better idea. I better get one too. And even if I am worthless, and this is what if I am worthless? I still pay the same amount of taxes. I still use toilet paper. My breasts are still going to sag when I get to be 65. So even if I am worthless, what the hell? I'm going to have the same experience everybody else is having.
Such peace.
If I am ugly, oh well, I still have to turn my taxes in on April 15th. I still have to pay the toll when I go across the bridge. My breasts are still gonna hang when I'm 69. What the hell? Let me just go ahead and be ugly or worthless or whatever it is, because you got to trick that deceptive intelligence that will use something and eat away at your trust and your love and your connection to yourself. Go on and be ugly, be fat, be worthless, be stupid, be helpless, be whatever. You still got to pay the same amount of taxes. Don't let that take you down.
And it's still not your identity, because if you can tap into your true identity, whether you believe in God and you say you're a child of God, or you're just goodness, because my definition of God is G-O-D, goodness out there, because I'm from Brooklyn, goodness out there.
Mine is greatness on demand.
And that's you. You are greatness on demand, but you have to demand it of yourself.
Right. That's right. And the other thing Laura, is that, and I don't, let me just, we're coaches talking. I know at the first, probably the first 30, 40 minutes of an upset or a challenge or a difficulty, my faith goes running out the window. Her hair is on fire and she's screaming running down the road. My faith, my knowledge, my information. And that's when I have to do my practice. That's when I have to, okay, wait a minute. Let me breathe. Let me bring myself back to center. Faith, come back here. Get some water. Take your hair out or with the fire out. Come on, sit down. Sit right here with me. So that is the power of a daily spiritual practice. Your daily spiritual practice. It will anchor you once like your faith, your trust, your knowledge, your information, your coaching skills go running down the street with their hair on fire. You got to have something to come back to. And if you don't, you'll be naked in the bushes with your hair on fire. So
And that's why it's called practice.
That's right.
It's never perfect.
Right.
It's a practice. And the more you practice it, the more you have to rely on. But it's out the window.
Yeah, out, gone, just down the block. You have to wonder. Now, mine used to stay gone maybe a day or two. Then it went down to maybe 8 or 9 hours. And now it's down to probably 6 minutes.
Wow.
When my hair starts, when I can smell my hair burning, I don't care what it is. I'm stopping. I'm going to sit. I'm going to breathe. I'm going to call in the light. I'm going to ask what to do. And so many of us don't know that we can do that. We don't know. So when the difficulty comes, we get busy managing the difficulty as opposed to managing our mind and our energy.
Now let's talk for a minute about like when real depression sets in, because we have people who are listening who, I know this to be true. I've been through major depressions and I come back to this place. But, I just came out of the worst anxiety I've had in my life, as I told you about this caretaking. I've never experienced anxiety like this, like my body telling me I'm having a heart attack, and it was anxiety. And when you're in that, either the darkness or the anxiety, it's true. It's real brain science that you're up to something.
Yeah.
So anyone who's out there suffering and you're listening to this going, yeah, that's nice for you. But, I have to, what can we do? Like, neither one of us are doctors. We're not prescribing, but this is real stuff. Depression is real. See, we have someone saying depression is hard to break. Absolutely.
Well, I'm not going to affirm that. I'm not going to affirm that.
All right. Say more. Say more.
And I've never experienced depression. So I don't want to be arrogant and say that I know what to do about that. But I've witnessed it. Someone very close to me had, life crippling depression. And I used to pray for her all the time. And it scared me because I know that'll take people into harming themselves. But I read a book many, many years ago called, whatever the name of the book was.
It'll come later. Not important.
I know that Patrick renamed the book Religion, Spirituality, Not Religion. And in that book, it said that very often depression is the sign of you trying to do everything on your own, not believing you can do it. And really, when it's that debilitating, you've got to call on something greater than yourself. That's what I know, because for my friend, that's all I could do. And I remember one day I was praying for her because I was really afraid. There was nothing. She couldn't.
Right. Nothing moved.
Nothing.
Self-talk doesn't help.
And what I heard, my guidance was, she'll be okay, and I'll meet her on the other side. Sometimes getting through the depression is taking you somewhere else. And if you saw her today, you would never, ever believe. I'm telling you, can't wash your butt depression. Can't brush your teeth.
Wow.
It was horrible. And like I said, I've never experienced it. I don't want to be arrogant enough to say, do this, do that, do the other. But I will say, for people who are experiencing it, call on something higher than yourself. And if you don't believe in God or angels, go to a tree, lay your belly on the ground and call in Mother Earth, something higher than yourself. Because like Patrick said, it's sometimes it's the result of us trying to do everything on our own, believing there's nobody there to help us, nobody loves us, nobody cares. You're trying to do everything on your own, but you don't believe you can do it. So then you
Right.
go into the hopelessness of futility of your experience. So that's what I know, and really blessing people who have had that experience. But I do know this too. The people that I know who've experienced depression at that depth, when they get to the other side, they are powerful.
And grateful.
Oh my God.
Oddly grateful for the depression even. I mean, if I hadn't had that in my 20s, I would have never become a coach.
Okay.
I came out of that with the compassion for humanity, understanding that everyone goes through something. I came out of it intuitive, which I didn't experience before that.
Hmm.
And look, there's no shame in asking for help. Whether you're going to lean on a friend, a tree, or therapist, there is no shame in that. I want people to know that. I can speak to this. Not I could still wipe my butt. I was never that out. But it's a separation. It's a
It
separation from
is.
yourself.
Yeah.
It's a separation from the God, and whichever you define it as. And I agree that it's often thinking you have to do everything yourself, and you just can't. So it's okay to ask for help. And it's the hardest time to believe that it's temporary. Like your first, we said you can do anything for a little while. It's a hard to believe because it can be up to a year clinically. But on the other side, there is goodness.
Yeah.
And that's like, if you can't see the light, try to remember that.
I'm gonna
There,
get to the other
on the other side, there
I'm
is
gonna get to
something.
the other side. I'm going to get to the other side. Um, it's a powerful thing, and it's also a testimony to how powerful our minds are. Because I know in depression that there are a lot of emotions going on, and those emotions will trigger up other experiences, other beliefs, other perceptions, and um, you're alone in your head without adult supervision.
Oh, I love when you say that. You're there you are again, alone in your head without adult supervision. I have quoted you on that. I always give you credit. Yeah, we have a question from a gentleman. I think this is really important. Okay. Why is it so hard to ask for help?
Yeah, particularly for men.
Right.
In this society, we are taught that weakness is a bad thing. Men and women, we're taught that weakness is a bad thing. And so if you can't do it, you must be weak or stupid or whatever. And to ask for help makes you vulnerable. And if you're a card carrying human being, we have a fear and aversion to being vulnerable because of the hurts or the disappointments or the betrayals or the abandonments that we had before. I trusted this person and they abandoned me. If I make myself vulnerable again, the same thing will happen. Because the mind is always referencing from the past. So it's hard to ask for help, A, because we don't want to seem weak. B, because we don't want to be vulnerable. And C, because the deceptive intelligence of the mind, the ego, is referencing the past, and we expect what happened before to happen again. So those are
Right.
the three things that I know.
Yeah. So maybe when you used to ask for help as a kid, you got rebuked, or you were looked down on, you disappointed somebody by not doing it yourself, or whatever the case may be. That all comes flooding back.
Or you asked for help and the people disappointed you.
Well, exactly.
Right. So sometimes we say we want to do this and that, but we're thinking about what happened before. Again, the deceptive intelligence references the past. It doesn't keep us in the future or in the present moment.
Ooh, people are bringing us some really good stuff.
Oh,
Okay.
good, 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 good.
Being alone with your thoughts is sometimes overwhelming.
Yeah, it
Can I
can be.
can I butt in here for a sec?
Please.
I know when I was in my darkness, it's overwhelming to be alone with your thoughts. Then get out and serve somebody else.
That's right. That's
Nothing will bring you back faster than being of service if you can.
Yeah. You know what I do, and this was a practice that I started when when my brain chatter, and I don't have as much anymore because I studied mindfulness. I'm a certified mindfulness instructor, mindfulness meditation. So I learned how to observe my thoughts and my feelings as opposed to engaging them. Powerful, powerful practice. But one of the things that I used to do was I'd go out and feed birds when I was my chatter was going on. I would go out and feed birds, and on the bread or whatever I was giving, I'd say, here, there's this thought, there's that thought, here's this thought, here's that thought, eat that up, take this or take it. And the poor birds were eating my thinking.
It's
You
kind of
know,
close to a Jewish tradition that gets done at the new year. You
yeah,
bring bread to a water, like to a stream, and you
right.
throw your
Cast
chips
your
in
bread
the
upon the
stream.
waters. I do it very, very often. I lived 7 minutes from a river. And particularly if I want to create something, I go and cast my bread on the water right there in the what are the geese? They love it. They're very thankful. I'm not polluting the ocean because I'm feeding the geese. So there's the birds again. You got to do what works.
And the connection with nature really makes a difference. Put your feet in the grass or put your feet in the water, and it brings you back to that better part of yourself. And it's, one of the tips we have for people is every day do one thing that moves you forward. Just
Yeah,
one.
one thing. The other thing that I think I want to touch on, and is that very often when we have calamity or difficulty or challenges in our life, and particularly those of us that don't have a good relationship with God's source creator, we think we're being punished. We think we're being punished for smoking happy flowers or fornicating or lying or stealing our money out our daddy's pocket or whatever. Understand that your difficulties are not punishment. It's not in the universe's nature to punish. However, we do experience the consequences of our dominant thoughts, beliefs, and actions. So sometimes difficulties come because you've put that negative thought out or that negative energy or that negative behavior. And now you're getting the corresponding energy. You don't know how it's going to show up. And sometimes difficulties and challenges come to stretch you out of your comfort zone, to stretch you into a new way of being. And a lot of people are going through that right now. They think that, after COVID and losing the job or losing the home, they think they're being punished or that this is horrible, terrible. No, you're being stretched because as human beings, we get comfortable and we'll conform to our limitations and we'll accommodate mediocrity. And the universe Mother Nature is like, no, I'm done with you people. Grow, heal, stop it.
Yeah, I mean, when times are hard, you do think punishment, and it's like, no, it's if you have a contract with, your soul has a contract to grow. You're on this earth to grow and to love. And so you are going to be challenged. And like I said about, my thing in my 20s, I came out of it understanding that everyone goes through something.
Yeah.
So it serves you.
Yeah.
Now, I have a question for you, changing gears a little bit.
Okay.
Being, this is about money.
Oh,
Because,
good.
right, we have depression setbacks, we have love setbacks, we have money setbacks. But you've experienced bankruptcy
Yeah.
and highs and lows of contracts. And say more about that. Like how do you deal with, whether you want to call it abundance or prosperity, money in the peaks and valleys?
Well, I grew up in poverty, dysfunctional poverty. I grew up believing that you got your money from other people. You had to work for a check. You had to do something for somebody to get money. That's how I grew up. I didn't know anything about money management. I didn't know I just said to someone the other day, I didn't teach my children money skills because I didn't have money. So
Right.
nothing to manage. That's number
Right.
one. And I must have been maybe in my 30s when I came into the awareness and was taught that money is an energy, my own natural energy yield. So whatever my energy is, it's going to yield me a reward. It's going to yield me tangible substance. So when I understood that money, wealth, abundance, first of all, it's not money. Money is a medium of exchange. That's all it is. And you have mediums of exchange because you can barter, you can exchange ideas, you can exchange. We're doing an exchange right now. There's no money here, but the reward that it
There's richness.
yeah, right, and wealth. So I think I was making $1 million a year and I was still broke because my consciousness was I had to get a check. And when the check is not here, just before the check comes, I got to be broke because you get paid on Friday, Wednesday, and Thursday. You're scratching and saving because you're waiting for the check. I was making $1 million a year and I was still broke, waiting for a royalty check, waiting for a speaking check, waiting because it was in my mind.
Wow.
When I understood, first of all, that my energy will bring me whatever substance I need, and when I understood, second of all, that no person, no place, no thing is my supply, my consciousness and awareness of the abundant source of life is my supply. And since my consciousness of that is unlimited, my supply is unlimited. I have never been broke another day in my life. Never. And I
Wow.
say broke, I mean without what I need, because I don't always need money. Sometimes I need a support. Sometimes I need information. Sometimes I need a resource. Sometimes I need a connection. But I've never been without my source. So it's really money is about your consciousness and your energy. I don't care. Let me tell you, this is the kind of dysfunction I came from. The day before payday, my mom, we would have no bread, no milk, no anything. So my mom would take an egg and fry it. She ate the white, my brother ate the yolk. I didn't eat eggs. So they would take one piece of bread if we had it, and they would cut it in two. And because I didn't have an egg, I got a whole piece of bread. Okay. That's
Wow.
what I'm talking about.
Woo!
Next day when the check came in, you had hot dogs and
I
beans.
knew you were going to say hot dogs.
Yeah, so so it's consciousness, it's mentality. I don't need a check. I need a connection. I need to understand what my source is. I need to be clear about what it is that I want. And even when I lost my house, not lost my house, I didn't lose my house. I had to turn my house back into the bank because I had some bad financial information and I had a balloon payment that I couldn't pay. And I had lost a $2 million contract with ABC. I wasn't working because when you and I aren't working, we can't go file for unemployment.
Exactly. We don't fit the bill.
All through the pandemic, people would talk about all of the PPP money. I didn't get not a penny, not a dime. But I also wasn't worried. I wasn't worried about how my mortgage was going to get paid, my car note, and I didn't have that experience. But even when I lost my house, I realized there are a million houses on this planet, and somebody wants me to have one.
Wow. So this was kind of a late lesson. I mean, this was, a decade more ago.
No, about 20 years
Oh,
now.
20 years. My gosh, time flies.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. It was the first show. Right, right, right. Unbelievable. Well, speaking of shows, let's speak for a moment about Iyana Fix My Life. So powerful. And this is really what you wanted to do from the beginning. Like, you weren't interested in makeup and a talk show.
I know. I wasn't. But some people are on the leading edge. I think you were one of the coaches that were on the leading edge. Some people are on the cutting edge, meaning they're cutting stuff away and they're creating a whole new path. And then people like me are on the bleeding edge. Which we're trying to get through and we cutting ourselves to death and bleeding all over the place, and people think it's ridiculous. When I did Iyamla, people had never heard of talking about healing or growth or that kind of stuff on television.
It's
And they
true.
just couldn't see it. And they tried to mold me and shape me into makeup and fashion. And it just wasn't in alignment with my soul. And then the universe sent me Starting Over, where we put the women in the house and we're able to coach them in the house. And from Starting Over, it grew into Iyamla Fix My Life, by virtue of the blessing called Oprah Winfrey. So there was at Iyamla, I was on the bleeding edge.
Right.
People had never seen what I saw. With Iyamla Fix My Life, I was on the leading edge, really bringing healing and coaching and spiritual foundation to a national audience. And my vision for Iyamla Fix My Life was always to reach the largest number of people with the least amount of effort. That was my vision. So I didn't care that it was television. I did that work. And then, when it was done, because television in the medium, you always got to do more, get better, keep the
Yes,
interest.
it's always the next thing, the next thing.
And so when it was getting to the point where um the extravaganza was more important than the healing, uh my spirit said, this is done,
Right.
get out on top, don't wait till you disgrace yourself.
No, definitely getting out while the going is good. And
Yeah.
it was just, you really went deep with people and people who aren't used to it. You were really introducing them to themselves in such a powerful way. And I just, kudos to you. I have a funny starting over story.
Okay.
I bet you don't know this, that I was up for that show. I was
Re-
interviewed. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
for
But
Chicago or LA?
actually, it was way before that. It was in New Jersey.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Okay.
And I was, it was, I was more concerned of what they were going to do to coaching
Yeah.
and how they were going to portray it than I was about getting the job. Like, I really didn't want the job. I was like, they're like, well, why are you here? This is me, how you throw away an opportunity. I was like, I'm here to see what you're going to do to my profession.
Oh my God.
I knew what I was doing. I knew I was knocking myself out of the running, but I was so concerned. And in the end, it was what it was. It was beautiful, but that's my funny little story.
I think that the people who were the guests on the show, for me, they just got the icing. The being able to show it was the cake. Because people could sit at home and identify themselves both on starting over and on fix my life. And my job wasn't to fix them. My job was to plant the seeds so that
Yes.
they either blossom and grow. Those people either cultivated those seeds in that soil or they didn't. And once I got, it's not my responsibility to fix or change or do anything. My responsibility is to do what God, creator, source sent me here to do. And what people do with it is their business. And I know that in coaching. People think that their job as a coach is to fix them. No, my job is
Or
to
to have all the answers for
right.
them.
My
You're
job,
not paying for answers, folks, if you work with a coach. You're
yeah.
paying to hear yourself.
That's right. Yes. And my job is to give you the tools and the information. What you do with it is your business. And I think that that's also important about when you're down and when you get up. That we think that because we know this or we have this or we've done this, blah, 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 that these things shouldn't be in our life anymore. And when you're down, when you're on your face, what you have to do is remember what you did the last time. Remember how you got up the last time. And that may not be the skill or the tool that you need right now, but at least call it into being. Don't act like you don't know it, because nothing's new, Laura. We know that. You
At
know,
least you've done it before, and that's the key. It's
yes,
like I have been here before, and not because I'm bad and terrible and I deserved it and it happened again, but it's like I know how to do this. Somewhere in you, you know how to do this. Now, when I think of the three shows, I see a trajectory, from Iyana to starting over to Iyana Fix My Life. Like you got to really go deep in the third.
yeah,
And and the funny thing about starting over, and this is the tough part, I think, for showing coaching on TV. You accomplished it in Iyana Fix My Life, where people got to see
see
the
it.
conversations,
Right,
what you had to do with people. And starting over, they, dress you like a princess and go in the park and pick up 7 rocks. Like they wanted activities
right,
to make it visual.
right.
And I think the world's finally getting used to the idea that coaching isn't visual,
No,
it's visceral.
yes, that's right. That's right. But you can't hold people's attention because there are, so many things to go. And, they used to tell us if you don't get them in that first 5 minutes, you're going to lose them. Well, then they'll be lost.
Right, because the thing is, why people don't sit? Because it's uncomfortable to sit.
It's uncomfortable. And
And
they,
why is it uncomfortable to sit? Because you're growing. Discomfort equals growth, people.
right, right. As long as you're comfortable, you're not growing. And the other thing is when you're comfortable, you are in charge, not the universe, not your soul. You got to be uncomfortable. And I say to people, you should be uncomfortable, number one. You should be scared enough that a little pee is running down your leg. If you don't have pee running down your leg, then it
Like your
ain't
dog.
It ain't big enough. You got to have a scare the pee out of you. That's how it's got to be. Otherwise you're being human. You're not being stretched. You're not being taken out of your control and out of your comfort zone. So
That's right.
sometimes the only way that we really get to grow, Laura, is through problems. Because if everything is fine and we're coasting along, we are not paying attention. We're just going along, we're just doing everything, and it's wonderful and marvelous. And it's not until you get that cold water in your face where you say, "Oh my Lord, oh wait a minute, hold up, I'm not as cute as I thought I was." I'm not as
You've got my attention now.
Let me tell you, can I tell you a quick story? We got time. Okay.
Please, please. And
So
then, go ahead, go ahead.
last night, I'm the primary caregiver for my great grandson. Okay. I've Iyana, great mother. I'm always raising somebody's baby. But he's 5. And so yesterday, he went to the bathroom. He only goes to the bathroom in his room. I'm blessed. I live in a house that has 6 toilets. Okay. So he only goes to the bathroom in his room. So he went to the bathroom in his room, and like a 5-year-old not being watched, he put a half a roll of toilet paper in the toilet.
Of course.
Of course he did. Yeah, yeah. And so when I went up there, I see the toilet is stopped up, a half a roll of toilet paper down in the thing, and the little poops sitting on top. Now, you would think somebody with 6 bathrooms would have a plunger.
Not if you don't know how to use it.
Actually, I did have a plunger, but I bought a cheap plunger that I knew wasn't going to work. I knew it, but at least I had a plunger because I got 6 bathrooms. But my question, how many times do we settle for what's available rather than go to extra yard to get what we need? So anyway, I threw him in the bed. I jump in my car, drive 20 minutes to the Home Depot because my Virgo-ness and my grandma-ness, I can't go to sleep in my house knowing that there's poop and toilet paper in the toilet in my bathroom. So I go to the Home Depot. I get there at 8:58. They won't let me in.
You've got 2 minutes to buy a plunger.
Forget it. So I drive 20 minutes further up the road, and I get up there and go to another store. I'm not going to name it. And they had plenty plungers. So I got 3.
Plenty.
So
Plenty plungers.
40 minutes back home, and I'm teaching him, before you go to bed, make sure your bladder's empty. Make your, go do your whizzing in the toilet so that you don't wet the bed. So of course he did that before he went to bed. He went and he whizzed in the toilet and flushed it. So I came back. There was poop hanging off the toilet. There was poop on the floor. There was poop everywhere with the toilet paper. But so now this is not what I want to be doing at 9 o'clock at night, 9:30 now. But I looked at the poop on the mat and everything, and I said, "Okay, Yamla, what's going on here? Where is poop overflowing in your life? And
Looking for lessons.
where are you clogged up? And where are you accommodating and tolerating less than you need or want? Because had you gone and got a plunger, you've been in this house 13 years. Why didn't you go get a plunger? You got 6 toilets. You need a plunger. But we do that. So for me, one of the ways that I get out of the difficulties or when I'm down, again, I say to myself, okay, what am I learning here? This is here for a reason. There's something greater. It's what Tyree Nichols' mother said. God bless her. She said, my son, God brought my son here for a reason. And something good is going to come out of this. So what did I say? With the poop hanging off the toilet and on the floor and floating all over the place, he in the bed sleep. I said, something good is going to come out of this. Now, it may still be coming. I don't know. But I do know I threw that bath mat in the trash because I'm not washing that. And
Yeah.
I get today to go to Home Goods to find a new bath mat.
And what a way to end the story. You get a new bath mat out of it. That's what you got out of it. Oh my gosh. Well, what I love about that is everything is a reflection. So ask that reflection what's going on. Oh my gosh. I'm going to remember that. And speaking of going out on top, Iyana, we have stayed at a very solid number of people watching on all our platforms. amazing. Thank you to everybody for tuning in to see this amazing bundle of energy named Mama Iyana, Ms. Iyana, Iyana Vansant, a friend, a sister. And I throw it to you. Any last words for anyone with their head in the toilet today who
With
needs
the toilet overflowing.
the toilet's overflowing with a lot of and they need that last bit of knowing so that they can get out of the difficult time?
You know, help is available. I want y'all to say, and if you know me, you love me. I'm telling you, when I was new to coaching, Laura was there. And she just had a brief knowledge of me, had watched me from afar. She was on my first talk show, Iyana. Look for the help. Stop thinking you have to do everything by yourself and be as willing to invest in your health and your healing and your growth and your vision and your intention. Be as willing to invest in that as you are to invest in a concert ticket or a new pair of shoes. Help is here. Laura's here. There are lots of other people. I do a lot of free stuff online, and people will still write me saying, I need your help. Well, here it is. What
Right.
the hey? But we're so into lack and restriction. So I say number 2023, 2023 is a 7 year. It's a year of reflection. It's a year of self-awareness. It's a year of birthing, of nurturing, of percolating, in the womb. So I want to encourage everybody to turn within, begin within this year. Tell yourself the truth about where you are overflowing, where you're accepting less than you need or you want, where you're just off center, where you're off base. Start focusing on the things that matter to you. And if you need help, get help. I recommend Laura. I'm sure she'll recommend me. You take a class, do a workshop, spend 3 days in prayer and fasting, silence. Get out of the world, turn them darn devices off and go within, because next year is going to be an 8 when we're going to be called by the universe to stand in our power.
Mm.
If you haven't done the internal work this year, you're going to fall flat on your face next year. And that's what being down is about. Sometimes we miss the cues and we miss the opportunities because we're so busy. Be still. Be still. Rest, reflect, go within. And I want to invite everybody, particularly those who are in difficulty, challenges, whether it's with your mother, your children, your in-laws, your partner, to join me on March 11th for an R-Spot intensive. Everybody can't get to me. Everybody can't fly. So the beauty of Corona is she made us comfortable online, right?
Yes, she did.
I'm doing an all-day intensive workshop on relationships, all day, from 10 a.m. to 7 a.m. And we're going to talk about how to turn the crumbs of our broken relationship into a beautiful cake. That's help. That's help. So if you can do that, Laura, tell them what you're doing.
Yes, I have if you're my stuff is career oriented.
Yes.
So if you're wondering what do I do with my life, or you got laid off, or I'm doing a free career clarity reboot early March. And in April, I speak to small business owners. So, we have time to talk about that. But if any of you download on Instagram at the link in the bio, here on all the platforms, you see that little thing going around on the bottom, you download that, you'll be able to get in touch with us. We'll be in touch with you. We'll have your email and say, hey, if you're interested, these are the things that we have going on. So there is free help. Iyana's going to bring you in to yourself. I can help you figure out next steps in your career, in your work, in your money. And that is free.
Free.
So take advantage of it.
Right. And then do the free stuff and then be willing to pay for what you need.
Yes. You invest in yourself,
That's it. That is
the numbers that I've done of investing in myself would shock you,
No,
but
they-
all of them have brought me to greater reward. And people think, oh, that's just a sales thing. No, it is so true. When you say I'm worth it,
yes.
it changes how you show up in the world. And the MONEY, my own natural energy yield, you are putting out, I'm worth it. And guess what comes back to you? So what a beautiful way to end our week. Iyana, I asked you for help and you have delivered. Thank you for showing me and my face to so many new people. We are very grateful for all of you for being here and hanging in with us for 50 minutes. Our
Wow.
numbers have stayed up.
What else do we have to do? What else do we have to do? You see Ebony right there is
We're
saying,
good unless someone has a question. We'll stay on a little bit if someone has a question.
Ebony is saying, help me please. What does that mean? What does
March 11th,
March
right?
11th is the all day, the R Spot Intensive. If you go to iyamla.com, you can find out the information for Laura's workshop on career reboot. Because a lot of
Nowwhatcoaching.com. Just go to
now
nowwhatcoaching.com.
what? Right. Now
Yeah.
what coaching? Because
And
a lot of people after Corona left the plantation.
right.
They start being enslaved. And that's good. I mean, every plantation out there, every corporation, every company, every retail business started because somebody said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. There are a million different kinds of potato chips. There's a million different kinds of cookies. There's a million different kinds of soap. If you have an idea, trust yourself enough to step into that vision. You don't have to be a Jeff Bezos millionaire. If you can feed your kids and keep the dog fed and keep a roof over your head, live your dream. Live your dream. And Laura teaches you how to do that. I teach you how to clean up your soul. She teaches you how to live your dream.
what a team. What a team. I love it. Let's see. Any other questions? Everyone just thanking us. We're good. Everyone loved it.
Good.
I think we're good.
Good. And also let me just say, for people who know that they need work, not just let me fix my money or fix my relationship, I also want to invite you to the Intervisions Institute Personal Development Program. It's a year-long program where you actually do the work step by step by step to heal the emotions and to move through the difficulties. You know, I don't know about you, Laura, but nobody in my life gave me life skills. It's like I grew up among the wolves. I don't know.
I grew up among people who did not have parenting. So,
No parenting, because the big people in my life was so busy fixing their own drama until, I was just in the pool of the rest of the drama. And if you have that, and if you know that you need skills, if you need information, if you know that you're on this hamster wheel of repetitive drama and conglomeration, take a look at our personal development program, because it's a process. It's a process that leads you to a practice. And some of us needed it. I needed it. I don't know how many workshops or classes you took before you started coaching, but listen.
I was a student of the Course in Miracles.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yes. 1978, I started A Course in Miracles.
In my 20s, I ran into Marianne Williamson. I didn't know her personally, but I heard about her, went to the church in New York City where she was lecturing when it was teeny.
Yes.
And approached this course. And to me, supposedly the course is about forgiveness. To me, the course was, there's two thoughts, fear or love.
Yes.
And that was a good black and white thinking for a New Yorker, right?
Yeah.
It was like fear or love. And
Yeah.
I just saw I lived in fear. Every thought I had was fear, 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 not good enough, not skinny enough. I was anorexic, not perfect enough. And those teachings, just knowing that, fear versus love. And by the way, this was another 60th birthday present to myself, was a love tattoo. That was the kicker. That's what changed my life. So the Course in Miracles.
Well, I started A Course in Miracles, I believe, in 1978 or 79, in the midst of living in just, I don't even know what you call it.
Was that before you became a lawyer?
Yes, before I became a lawyer.
Wow. Okay.
And I was Black and female in the 50s and the 60s. That's, it's like
that wasn't a very welcoming place.
Function. And I went to this Course in Miracles meeting at a row house in Philadelphia, taught by this wonderful man, Bill McCowan. And I was the only person of color in the room, and they were looking at me and I was looking at them. And the Course in Miracles was 3 books at that time. It wasn't one.
Yeah, it still is.
And I opened the Course in Miracles, and he was teaching, and we went in the lesson book, and he said, find the lesson that, really resonates. And they were all listed there. And the thing that caught my eye, and I still hold on to it today. It's my signature of my email, everything, which is truth will correct all errors in my mind. Ow!
Hot stuff.
Truth will correct all errors in my mind, because I knew enough to know that it was my mind that was jacking me up. It was my mind and what I had seen and heard and experienced. Truth will correct all errors in my mind. I still carry that to me today. So whenever there's confusion, whenever there's chaos around me, okay, what's the truth here? There's some truth here. Truth will
But
correct.
how blessed were you that in that youth and with everything you'd been through, something drew you that sounded like a good idea to go to that study?
When I saw it in the paper. I didn't know what it was, A Course in Miracles. I was trying to get my husband.
Like, miracles sound good. Okay.
Right. I was trying to get my husband to stop beating me. So I said, I need a miracle.
I need a miracle.
This class. So I went there. And, the universe will use whatever will get your attention.
Wow.
And even if it's difficulty, the universe will use whatever. It could be a divorce. It could be an illness. It could be a wayward child. It could be a pimple on your butt.
If that's what makes you pay attention, then that's what it is.
I love you, Laura. I love you, Laura.
I love you so. Thank you so much for the gift of your company and conversation. And everybody, thank you for being with us. We're going to call it a morning and just have a beautiful weekend. And we're both welcoming you with open arms for whatever work you want to do. We'll hold you.
Now what career?
Now what coaching.com.
Yeah. And Intervisions Institute, or IVISD, the Personal Development Program, or the R Spot Intensive on Saturday, March 11th, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. You can get all of that information from me at Iyana, IYANLA.com, and for Laura at
nowatcoaching.com. And if you download our download, you'll hear from us.
Yeah, because we have a handout. Tell them about the handout.
Yes,
Laura.
We have a handout of 7 steps to overcome whatever you're going through. And we worked on this together. It was so much fun to have this for you. So if you download it, of course, we ask for your email. So that's our only ask. And we will be in touch with you and let you know about these offerings that are going on. And we'd be delighted to see you there. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Have a blessed and wonderful day. Have a great weekend. Happy Valentine's Day. Happy plunge the toilet day. Happy
it's scaring me. Now I've got to go check my toilets. We have a great plunger, though.
Okay.
But I don't touch it. It's the boys clog it, the boys unclog it. I want nothing to do with it, and I throw out the rug, too.
I'm not washing no poop.
Well, God bless you. Love you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, everybody.